welcome back to another episode of Into the 99, where we've got 99 cards because Commander's number one. I am one of your hosts, Daniel. I've got the gang here today. We got Brian, we got Sherman, we got Slothy. Brian, how are you doing?
I'm tired, but it's a good tired. I was up late playing a new amazing game. I can't talk enough of it. Pal World. It's everything a Pokemon game should have been, with fully automated weapons.
Oh, battle slavery with weapons. Nice.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's a very interesting concept. Basically, you could set up these little items around your base, and they go and do them for you. Like, you don't have to do anything. It's great, but it's a very fun concept for a game.
It sounds like Farmville.
Talk enough, but I don't want to take enough of this time.
Sounds like Farmville.
It's a whole other podcast.
Yeah. How are you doing this week, Sherman?
I'll say this right now. I am really glad it is the weekend and we get to record and I get to see you guys. It's been really tough the past couple months for me mentally, from the holiday season and then everyone like messaging after holiday season saying I didn't get this or I want a refund on this or all that stuff. And dealing with people after the holidays is the worst. I kid you not. It is always the worst. It is just mentally draining. So getting together with you guys, talking about random stuff and everything is so refreshing every single time. I look forward to it. So yeah.
So what I'm hearing about you is
crappy, but I'm feeling better every single time I see you guys.
Oh. So you get holiday season and then a refund season.
Oh yeah.
But
and people are like always rude. Well, not always. Like 90% of the people are rude when they do that. So it is what it is, though. That's
still a big bummer, though, right?
Yeah, that's why I look forward to seeing you guys and recording.
Oh,
for this topic.
I wish we were more exciting to record with. And Slothy, how are you doing?
Not too bad. Had kind of a rough start to the week, but past that, been playing a bunch of horror games. So it's been a decent week.
Horror games are a good time.
Yeah. The last horror game I played was Alien Resurrection, and I don't think I left the very beginning room.
Nice. Wasn't for you or what?
Cowards.
Horror games are a good time. Yeah, the week was weird for everyone. Like, basically right after we finished recording last week, it was like minus 40-ish out, and all I did was I had to go get my car started. So I spent an hour getting cars started. My car's my wife's car, and then ended up doing more work stuff. Like, it was just not a great week temperature wise. So
thankfully it is supposed to be warming up next week, though.
Finally,
it was -9.
It was it hit -50 this week, and I didn't enjoy that. I was actually opposed to it, to be honest.
I didn't leave my house until like 2 days ago.
Yeah, it just wasn't great. So the one nice thing is, like I said, my work truck never turns off on this amount of time. Like, they just you don't turn trucks like that off. So every time I got to work, it was nice and toasty, but wasn't great. It wasn't great in the interim.
Yeah, getting to work was the rough part.
Well,
I guess for like people that don't understand how cold that is, like as soon as like anyone with facial hair steps outside in this and you breathe, you now look like Kris Kringle with a white frosty beard.
Oh yeah, I had tons of I had the full ice beard more than once.
Yeah, and then you step inside and you're like, man, why is my face so wet?
Yo.
Yeah, no, it was weird. We didn't, like I said, we've talked a little bit about it before. We didn't really get a winter out here for once, right? It was kind of on and off. Like, it would snow a little bit, but it wasn't cold. Like, everything was clear all December, and then not anymore. I'll tell you that right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a waist deep pile of snow on my lawn.
Nothing. Apparently, BC got 30 centimeters.
Yeah, like that's too much. Yeah, so
for BC.
Yeah, BC usually only gets rain.
Yeah. My friend was like 6 centimeters. The city shuts down, or 6 inches. The city shuts down. It's like interesting. What do they do with 30 centimeters? State of emergency. Yeah.
Statewide holiday for a month.
Everybody only has summer tires. Like
they only got up to -7, so like we joke about it, but they're just not used to it. That's it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it's I don't know. The weather is kind of interesting. It's definitely delayed some games that we were gonna get playing. Like I'm still waiting for an internet problem to be resolved, and I'll talk about it until I die. But once that they can't fix something if it's buried under a foot of snow. You know what I mean? Like what are they gonna do?
Frozen.
Yeah,
frozen
send out a
soil.
shovel crew. Right? It's kind of similar to like digging a grave. You can't dig a grave. You can't dig my internet up at this time. Don't die. Don't need internet in the winter, and you're fine.
And dead as your speeds are.
Yeah, exactly. We're having a funeral for my internet speeds. Yeah, no, it's not great. It's not as wonderful as you would think. But yeah, so we had a bunch of games and then haven't got to get out and play them. So we'll be doing some more stream stuff soon into the new year, as I keep saying, and we will once we stop being frozen. To be honest, though, it is like kind of I don't know how it's been for everyone else where they are, but packing up in -30, -40 to go to the game stores is not wonderful.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about like trying to move. Nah.
Oh, trying to like move in here? I'd be like, nope.
Yeah, like people moving.
Yeah, your lease is up. Take me to court. I'm not leaving. It's yeah, moving in the winter is like the worst time in the world to move.
I thought raining was, but then when in the winter and you got to contend with dirty snow and just walking through your house and yeah.
Oh well, yeah, exactly. It's I'm happy I don't have to move. It's lovely. It's a delight. But yes, we will we'll talk, Sherman. We have an interesting one. We're not doing a deck this week. We're talking a concept.
Say what?
We're talking a concept that Sherman enjoys. So, Sherman, take us away with what it is.
Okay, so we had this discussion a few times in past episodes, but mainly we want to talk about the differences between combo and synergy, because the few times we've talked to people, few times we play games with people, they're like, "Oh, this is like a synergistic deck," and it just combos off on turn 4 or 5. And we have the opposite where someone's like, "Oh, this is a combo deck," and we don't see a single combo even after they've gone through like 90% of their deck, and we're just like, "Huh," And we've talked about it before, like saying like how you can kind of gauge what kind of environment the person plays when it comes to their group, or not really like what their level is, but like when you first start off, you kind of go the combo route compared to synergy, and eventually you kind of stick with synergy because it's just more fun than combo. So
every time we talk about that, I'm just reminded of a game I played, and I won't name any names, but it was a fun game to me. And I was telling this story on the Rogues Passage podcast last week too. I was playing a Niv Mizzet game, and I hard cast Omniscience. Not a mana rock in sight. Didn't cheat it out. I hard cast it. We're deep into this game at this point with an empty hand, no cards in hand. Niv Mizzet tapped. Omniscience without cards in hand, not a very good card. And one of the people at the table scooped, and they're just like, "I hate combo decks. I'm not playing against this." And they left. They went home for the night. And it's just, to me, still one of the funniest interactions I've ever seen, because I had nothing in hand. And they're just like, "Oh no, like that's a combo." And it's not a combo if you hard cast like a 10 mana spell or whatever Omniscience is.
Yeah. Well, what else am I playing after paying 10?
I love seeing silly scoops, but yeah, that's just a lot of people don't know, like you were saying, what the difference is between them, because a combo is like a 2-drop, right? Like, Protean Hulk, and then you go get your creatures, you kill your Protean Hulk kind of thing, right? Like a Flash Hulk is the traditional combo everyone kind of thinks of, or like Oracle Demonic Consultation, like the CEDH combos. And Yeah, those are like very different than building like with just like synergy, like the ways that your like deck actually decks should be built with synergy, right? I'm not much of a combo player unless it's like a interesting combo that does, if you're like assembling a bunch of pieces, but I generally don't really like the like two-shot I win cards.
I guess here's my I guess I find you three are much better deck builders. I'll be honest. I like to just big bunk people. You guys can actually see the combos with cards and stuff like that. So this is Brian's dumb report for synergy versus combos. To me, synergy is if I have my board state and my board is triggering my board to do stuff, and then to me, a combo is where almost I need to cast something. It's from somewhere else other than the board to really start causing everything to go off. And that's how I kind of view it. Like synergistic to me is if my deck pieces can almost be like a puzzle where I can put them onto the board, like maybe like lifelink and veto, or forming a board state, giving them all lifelink, and then I have those other pieces to kind of cause the life loss, right? Um, or like the Protean Hulk and then you have to cast for the combo. That's like my kind of understanding for them.
Yeah. So like basically the way I have it in the notes here for everyone is just literally like when it comes to synergy, most of the time when you see synergy is just like in things like tribal decks, or like think of it like like vampires, merfolk, zombies, things like that. Like any of those tribal decks, they work really well together because they synergize with each other. That's what they do. Okay, if you have a zombie deck, you're going to have zombie lords, other zombies that like trigger other zombies that you have. Some will give other zombies death touch, some give them flying, etc., etc., right? Combos are
Some cards allow you to cast them for free.
most of the combos
Rooftop
that we see,
Storm or whatever, is that it?
Yeah.
But most combos like basically lead into your win conditions, or they go infinite. Okay, most of the time we see them go infinite.
Demonic Consultation, and the other one, is it Hull Breacher or not Hull Breacher?
That's Oracle.
Yeah, that one. Like that's the other one that I hear so much.
Yeah, that one's very common.
Which one? The Hull Breacher combo? Or
no, Demonic Consultation and whatever he said.
Yeah.
Consultation and Thoracle.
Yeah.
I find that such a boring combo. Like Flash Hulk was more exciting to me.
Oh, 100%.
It's just I find a lot of the CEDH meta right now boring. But that's personally just me. The I just don't really think it's in a great place because it's focused so much on those. I don't know. I don't like just I talk about it all the time. I don't like good cards just for the sake of good cards, right? Like it's I don't like to put Smothering Tithe in a deck just because the deck has white. Like I find
Howard.
A lot of those I find are like more of like the combo route, right? Because I always say like the C and CDH like shouldn't stand for competitive, it should stand for consistent. The more consistent you are, the better you can do it. It's like the same with everything. If you do archery, like I shoot bows, compound bows, right? If you can hit the same spot, it doesn't matter if that spot is a bullseye. If you can keep hitting the same spot, you just have to move where you're aiming. And like I find a lot of people build, even if it's not in the combo, I find that they're just always putting in those exact straight up like the staples. They're like, oh, it's the best of Wizards printed this, so I have to do it. And I really, really don't like a lot of the cards like the Ristic Studies, like that. And again, maybe that's because I build so many decks, right? If you don't build 600 decks at a time and stuff, like I was building decks last night before I went out to work. If you don't build 13 decks at a time, then maybe it is fun to play that way. But when I just go like, okay, here's a new deck, it's the same deck as the last deck, and here's a new deck, and guess what's in it? The same deck, right? So I find combos like function to me that way. Like I've got a few decks that that function on mini combos and do cool things. Like obviously I have like CEDH ones too. But like Tayam, for instance, like Tayam Luminous Enigma, that's a really, really fun combo themed commander. Like Tayam, whenever creatures come in, they get vigilance counters on them. You can remove 3 counters from permanents and bring things 3 CMC or less back. Tayam's a really, really fun commander to play. And not because you're trying to one-shot win, but you're just trying to do so many like interesting, unique reanimations. I like that kind of combo personally.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we're kind of giving combos a bad rap because we're right now talking mostly infinite combos, right? Where it's just like like Sherman has like some fun interactions with things like a combo-ish kind of thing. Is he has an Agnus deck and a lot of like haste enabling kind of things, and then out of nowhere Bludgeon Brawl, where you get all these like equipment into like the treasure tokens become equipment, you get suited up, and you get beat down with the you get the treasure beat down. That's like a fun combo, but is that like do you think that meets more in the middle of like a synergy, like because it's not really a combo?
I think that's kind of further into the middle, yeah, where like it's not Thassa's Oracle, Demonic Consultation.
What would
But
we
it's
call
also
that?
not-
We have a time to give it a name. What is the middle of synergy and combo?
Combinergy.
What were the two?
Sinambo and Combinergy.
We will have a vote.
It's like there's some commanders are gonna just naturally pull you into combo based things. Like Brian built Gave recently. Gave, Gahave, Giwav, whatever
Guave,
whatever you'd like to whatever you'd like to call it and stuff. There's almost no way to not that card combos by drawing a hand, right? Like it just there's so many interactions that like this dies, these come in. Like I don't even think you meant to put them in.
I had no idea. I was just like, oh, this seems fun. I just want to make tokens or counters. I was just like, I'm going to make counters.
Yeah, right. Like there's just so many there's so many commanders that want to pop off. They want to have combos put into them, but I guess like Sherman's got like good notes over here about like our problems and stuff, but like one of the things is how do you make a combo fun? Like that's kind of what I'd like to ask you guys. Like what do you see as a fun combo? Because obviously winning is fun. Anytime you win the game, it feels great.
I false. I wouldn't say I agree with that because again, for me, if the table's not having fun, I typically don't feel like I'm having fun. So if like I'm sitting there like turn 2, peace losers, and like and like I won, like, but if I look at it and like I have like these guys that want to beat me, I don't think like I want to be able to be welcomed back, right? Like I had a very bad experience with sitting down going, hey, what are we doing here? I will be honest, the guy was straight up and said he is competitive. So I was like, all right. But I was like, again, everybody has their own tiering system or whatever. So I went into it, but when I lose 2 games in a row, when I'm coming out for just fun games, 2 games, turn 2 or turn 2 or turn 3. I think even 1 game was turn 0. Like it was just why? Like why I exerted my energy to shuffle up and play. Like so that's like when I'm going in to play my games, like I want to be able to ensure or at least go at least 5-6 turns with people and have like you want to see your cards, right? You spent the money. People want to see their cards. They're not just want to sit there and be like, "That's a cool 7. I only saw this card once and I wanted to play it."
It's all a 7. Everything's a 7.
Yeah,
everything
on our merch store now.
My debit card is a 7.
Yeah, I just put it down by itself. This could be whatever I want it to be.
Like when it comes down to it, like I think if it's an infinite combo, like we're not saying that you shouldn't play infinite combos.
I am.
There are times and places, and when it comes down to it, like, cause like let's face it, okay, CEDH will always do combos. Okay, you don't see them being like, okay, I will like swing out wide with like these like 10-10 like creatures I cast with haste. Like it. They tend to go for like straight up infinite combos or something along those lines.
Something that wins, yeah.
Yeah. But
if you go for bonks, though, I'm totally fine with that. Like, if you're attacking me, I'm fine, because that's at least showing some initiative on your behalf.
But if I generate infinite mana and I Song of Totenaz, make 1,000 rats and swing at you with 1,000 rats, that doesn't feel any better, I don't think.
I guess, how fast can you do that?
The same way with, like, if I making infinite mana with Walking Ballista and making infinite mana with Totenaz, it's going to end up the same thing. It's 1 damage coming at you each time for both, right? So that, like, I don't know, does it feel better to die from infinite creatures? Yeah. I love Song of Totenaz. Thunder over here said, I really liked what Thunder wrote. I feel it's important to set a baseline definition. So Thunder's suggestions are: infinite combos never run out. Combos run out to a point, like run out of mana life. That's more how I combo in like TAM and stuff, right? Like you can do X amount of things, but you eventually hit no mana. There is some infinite mana stuff, but like Teysa Karlov, for instance, has like a great amount of ability to loop where you like sack a creature and have a doubling thing out, so you get 2 spirits to sack and keep going back and forth. Like anything that's gonna just keep replenishing itself. Infinite combo. That is, it's one kind, right? Then we have like the combos that just run out of, I can do X, Y, and Z 3 or 4 times. If I tap this to do that, it will do it, and I can repeat it, but there's an end point to what I can repeat. And then instant win con, which isn't a combo, but you just win like the that's like a lab man kind of thing, right? Like you're gonna win out if you play this, because that's not really a combo to just draw a card if lab man's sitting on the field. And then just like the synergy is, all combos require synergy, but not synergies are combos. I like those definitions a lot.
Mm-hmm. One's a subset of the other.
Yeah, right. But I guess some of the problems that Sherman brought up is that I find combos can get kind of boring pretty quickly, right? Like in a 100 card format, I hate seeing the same cards over and over and over. It's boring. There's so many cards. Do something fun. Play things that no one knows. Make people ask, like, what does that card do? I've never seen it, right? That's more entertaining. I think it's more fun to see different things. I really don't like the staple cards. I think that a lot of them, like, I get the dockside. You can make infinite mana if you blink your dockside. I understand. I get it. Be more creative. That's my thoughts.
And that's the thing. Like, I find that with most times when people build decks that do combos, they just become reliant on the same combos again and again and again. And when you do that, in my opinion, your deck building skills go down. So, like, you can, like, there's so many cards in the game. You can build a deck with like 0 staples. Okay, it's easy. You just need to, once again, spend time. Okay, like if we look at last week's deck, okay, I had what I say, like a handful of staples in it. Okay, every other card just works with the commander. It's just synergistic.
Yeah, they weren't like the power staples though. They were just like your Beast Within kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Soul Rings, Arcane Signets.
But there was like even for the fetch lands or the spells for like that stuff. Okay, like 3 visits, Farseek, Cultivate, Kodamas Reach, Secure Tribe Elder. All of that I don't have in the deck. I don't have a Birds of Paradise. I don't have a Land of War Elves. None of that. I don't care, because but those tend to be staples, right? But here we have a deck which basically has no staples.
Well, yeah, it's like full balls to the wall synergy, right? Like it's everything is triggering the commander and working kind of like a big puzzle that's all fitting together, right? It's fun to see that like kind of come to life.
Yeah, like I don't mind people playing combos, but like the biggest problem I have with people that do, okay, one, it is the same either combo or same cards constantly. The second one is the reliant on tutors mostly.
That's what
tutors
I
on
wanted to mention. Take away your tutors, cowards. Draw into it. I don't play tutors. Like if I play a deck that I haven't played in a while and I stumble across a tutor that I had, okay. The only deck I have tutors is probably my enchantments, but like.
But are you excluding land tutors? Because that is still tutoring for lands.
No.
I stack every deck with cultivate.
I call them ramp, but
technically you're just ramping your win con with a demonic tutor.
I mean, that is very true.
Yeah. If technically you could, nothing stops you from using like an Imperial Seal or a Grim Tutor to go get a land. Technically still ramp.
I do it to thin out my deck, even though, like, you know, the one extra card technically doesn't make much of a difference, but, you know, I just like doing it. So Evolving Wilds Terramorphic expands, sure.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, but at the same time, like, when I do that, once again, it's not like there's a big difference, okay? Like, you know, if I'm using like Evolving Wilds or Terramorphic, okay, I'm grabbing a basic land. If I'm, you know, compared to like grabbing a dual land of some sort,
like your power fetches,
there's a difference there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's the difference between fetching a land and playing any of the black fetches or black tutors and finding anything.
To be honest, it could be pretty entertaining to start playing like Worldly Tutor into Tangled Floral Hedron so that you can get like 1 mana land ramp. I think that's kind of funny, to be honest.
All of my tutors fetch out mana dorks.
All you do is just start fetching out the creatures from like the Zendikar flip ones.
If you're having a pregame talk, how do you convince the play group? Yeah, I've got Vampiric Tutor in here, or Worldly Tutor. It's going for lands, I promise.
Worldly Tutor into Howling Mine. Or sorry, Vamp Tutor into Howling Mine. I wish. Bring me a world where Worldly Tutor into Howling Golem. We're there.
Once again, it comes down to who you are and what your play group does normally. Like if I tutor something, right? Like I rarely play tutors, but when I do, normally it's because I want to grab something where it's makes the game more fun. Sort of like what Daniel's saying, like, oh, hey guys, I'm going to tutor. And I tell them I'm going to tutor for a Howling Mine. So just leave me alone for a second, okay? I'm wasting like 4 mana or 6 mana here. I'm just going to try to make the game more fun, okay? And then everyone's like, oh yeah, just do it, you know? And that's not as big of a deal as compared to like, okay, I'm going to grab something, you have no idea, and everyone's looking and it's like, oh, what is it? Is it the combo piece? And whatever. It's like, you know, like there's a difference, right? Like people look at me when I tutor and they're just like, whatever, we don't care. Because we know you tend to grab something that's like either helpful or not, and just, you know, goes from that.
Oh, sorry. I accidentally switched my camera there.
Yeah, we're going into the infinite with Daniel.
There we go. Whoops. I'm infinite comboing the screens.
Yeah, that's what I do when I tutor normally. Okay, like I literally just say like, "Hey, this is."
You switched Daniel again.
I'm just blowing my nose for the video.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of like my Sliver Overlord deck, because I can tutor in the command zone.
Yeah, it's gross. We get it.
No. It's not my fault you made bad plays.
Like, slivers are like a combination of both. Okay, they're very synergistic, and at the same time, like they combo like no tomorrow, right? But if you shut down one part of it, you know, it still keeps on going, which is the hard part.
You don't shut down part of it. You shut down it all. You play. What's it called? Humility. Yeah. We humility.
That was still one of my favorite to-date games. That's still one of the best interactions I have ever seen in the entirety of playing Magic, is watching somebody. I was dominating the board with slivers, like just out of control with everything. And like slivers, there's no when this sliver enters counterspell sliver, right? So yeah, that sucks. But I have probably, well, let's say 15 open mana, and I've got a sliver overlord, and I have like the Amoeboid changeling, so I can take anyone's sliver stuff right now. Like I'm in a great spot. And Brian, the hero of the table, drops a humility. Just he's trying to put me to where it is. And again, my sliver deck, this is all gasoline. I don't play removal in a normal deck. You think slivers is where I'm packing it? No. So I've got nothing. Every ETB, every sliver removal that I could get, everything I could tutor with that overlord, it's all enter the battlefield. It's all dependent on those slivers having abilities. Brian's dropping this thing, and I'm not happy about it. And I say, oh well, that's gonna end the game for me. And we have a player at the group, again, unnamed player, but it is the same.
No, you mentioned Brian. Brian just saved this game. He saved you guys.
Yeah, Brian. I was like, yeah, Brian just saved you guys. But again, unnamed player, the same player with omniscience. It's very funny. Just straight out was like, oh yeah, it wouldn't matter if he played that. And I was like, it would. There's nothing that anyone could do if he didn't. And he's just like, oh no, it'll be totally fine. Like I could stop you, and I was like, you couldn't. I'm a menace. This is like the one thing in Magic that could have like really got me, because again, I've got so much mana, I can tutor out any of my things. No, he's like, oh, I'll show you, and he counterspells Brian's humility. Like it's resolving, counterspells it, and Brian's like, are you kidding? And I'm like, okay. So I've got a smile on my face like it's Christmas. Like I'm so happy with this. And then they try
about A1 like politics here.
Yeah, so I do the exact thing. They start trying to, like, they flash a board wipe, and I insta-tutor the indestructible. It's not Hive Lord. Yeah, I tutor Hive Lord right to the battlefield. Bam, we're good to go. And then they respond, they're like, oh, don't even worry, I got an exile. Bam, Crystalline Sliver comes down from it. Bam, I start taking everything from their field. I'm just like, you know what, I'm going to take this. I'm going to take your commander and stuff. And I just watched them not say a word. They just grabbed their deck. They started shuffling up, and they started just sitting there, like, dealing themselves like a new hand and like play, and like basically talking themselves. It brain wrecked someone to a point that it's one of my favorite things. But like slivers, you can't let slivers get out of control. They all synergize across the board with each other, like every one of them. But it's been one.
It was like the only card to save us, because me and Darryl played a 1v1 game. You played slivers. That's like humility.
Humility is like that shuts down a lot of what I do. Like I said, I like to draw, and I like enter the battlefield, like ETB, and I like landfall. If you can shut off any of those things, like, it's not good news. Like a humility really wrecks my deck. That throws a real wrench in the plans of 90% of my decks. I have to then hope I have a Sherman or a Slothy at the table to actually remove things.
Or one of your newer decks, because you've actually added some.
Yeah. To my chagrin.
New Daniel.
It's a changed man.
It's
You've
no.
seen the light.
I don't want to see the light. I want to see more of my creatures hit the battlefield. But yeah, like slivers are like a very, very good example of like synergy. Like you can combo a sliver deck for sure. Like I have I got 2 sliver queens. Hooray. One is in my overlord deck. That's cool. And then one is the whole point is making tokens deck. It's just things to like mana echoes with sliver queen. That's a great combo. You play into the sliver queen, mana echoes enters, it sees the slivers you have, you get colorless mana, you make another sliver, and you just keep going and going and going until you are done making slivers. You can just make a million slivers if you want. Pass the turn. You have to have a number in mind when you do your infinite stuff. 80 quadrillion 500,000 billion 9 gorgillion.
I think that was in the wrong order.
Nope, not for me. That's not the wrong order for me if I'm the one casting it. Math for blockers, dork.
Number. How much does a Gorgillion have? 100 million zeros.
100 Borgillion.
180.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, like slivers, what I was going to say is like they, from top to bottom, right? Like your gem hide's a classic. All your slivers now ramp. That's like the definition of synergy, right? Who doesn't want all their creatures to ramp? followed by all your creatures can, like, whenever they enter, do a damage, or whenever each sliver has flying, right? There's so much that I think that's why slivers aren't a combo deck, right? But they do get a horrible rap. Everyone is wary of a sliver deck sitting down to the table. That's why having a sliver precon this year or last year was so weird, because it's a universal, like, everyone goes against the sliver player kind of deck, right? Like, I don't know. Slothy, you just got that one. Like, do you find that when you drop slivers on the table, it's Slothy versus the world?
Oftentimes, yeah. It definitely feels like it's kind of a boogeyman deck, even though I built it specifically to have 0, like, infinite combos or anything in there. The goal of the deck is just to bonk people.
I'm pretty sure there's a protein hook in there.
The protein hook's not in slivers, no.
Okay,
That's a food. That's a food deck.
Okay, all right. I'll eat my words.
Slothy, I'll be honest. I try to give you the benefit of the doubt when you have your slivers. I go, I'm going to wait until there's a problem. Turn 2, I'm a problem.
That's funny. Yeah,
like, as soon as I see a gem hide, I'm like, nah, he's done. He's got that. That's got to die.
He's got to go.
Gemhide to me is one of the most bait cards. It's like Gemhide and Howling Mine. I'm not throwing that hand away for nothing. There could be nothing in it. I could literally be holding, like, pieces of wood, just a wood tier hand, and I would still be like, I'd keep this. I could play it.
I mean, yeah, I run 32 lands in that deck, so if I've got a Gemhide in my opening hand, that is perfect.
Howling Mine, 1 land, and everything else 6 CMC or plus. I'm keeping it. We'll get there.
Oh, 100%.
We'll see what's going on.
Yeah, I would too, actually.
Yeah, right?
My brain.
Yeah, but slivers are like the boogeyman of synergies. And honestly, elf decks are getting there too. Like, elves have always been like a wild thing, but they just keep really, really giving them everything you can. There's like, elves are out of control right now. Circle of Dream Druid was like an insane thing.
It's almost as if, like, wizards are, like, simping for elves. Like, it's elves is everything. Merfolks is everything. Like, please, for the love of God, like I said 2 weeks ago,
like Kavus and stuff. Yeah, you want more of the different ones.
Well, even, like, do, like, centaurs, like, other fantasy creatures that you haven't touched, or you haven't even given, like, a lord or anything for. Like, you have pure creative will and freedom, but yet you just lackluster and repeat and just like, what did the last year's team do? Oh, I'm going to try to sketch over that art, or please stand over there naked so I can paint over certain sections and then throw that on a card.
True. Brian has feelings about these.
Yeah. Holy crap, yeah. I came in heated.
Even cards like...
It definitely does feel like it's all like elves, vampires...
Well,
like, they have not been unique for years.
I was going to say, even Yenna. Yenna is, like, probably the best enchantment commander that's been printed in a long time. Yenna's crazy. And Yenna just has elf stapled onto it.
Yeah, past the pre-colored one, the Bant one, masks.
No, I still think that this is better.
No. Yenna's, but I was going to say that one was previously probably the top enchantment
like
deck that I
Tuvasa?
always saw. Yeah.
Tuvasa, Asteroid, those kind of things. It's just, Yenna just does so much, like making non-legendary cards, or making legendaries non-legendary so you can double up things like a Calyx, for instance. It's a nutty commander. And then they just stapled on elf. There's no downside now to putting your entire ramp package into just elves. And a Priest of Titania.
Exactly. Elf Charge-Druid.
Again, Galadriel, they're just like, elf. I guess I don't know much about Lord of the Rings.
Galadriel was an elf.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair.
But in all honesty, it should have been elf, like, demon or whatever, because that ring tainted her. The Lord of the Rings, like, this isn't before, like...
That's fair. I really should watch these movies. I got to find 18 hours one day.
We said we were going to watch them when we were up in Edmonton, but we weren't really... We slept, went to the hot tub and the pool and the GameCon place.
True. Yeah, that was a good trip. But no, Sherman.
What do you guys think of, like, I know Sherman has some stuff here, but I think, like, for me, probably one of my favorite, I don't even know if I would say synergistic or combo, but Xyrus.
Yeah, Xyrus kind of works together so well.
Especially like you could have it synergize with like the whatever creature enters the battle, the Perforos or whatever stuff like that. Or would you consider those combos?
No, I'd say that's high synergy, right? Because you're not X, Y,
It's
and
a
Z.
puzzle piece on the board. People could remove it. Like it sits there for a while. There is ways to interact.
You're the only other one I know, Sherman, that has this deck. Is it Mina and Den or like the Min Wiley? What's the illusion deck?
Min Wiley Illusionist.
That one. Like I said, I talk all the time about how I hate staples, but that's like a deck that I think a great spot for heuristic study is because you're trying to get that extra card draw off. Like it matters to that deck, right? I'm not throwing heuristic in that deck simply because that deck's blue. It's because I'm trying to hit like a mass of it, and you're trying to get the draw on other people's turns, right? So I don't mind them if it makes sense and they actually synergize, but I hate like just like good cards thrown in.
But like even then, like my min deck is like specifically for like my book tribal deck, right? But like if I had like when I first started playing, like I had Ristic in my Locust God deck, and yeah, technically that made sense, right? But I took it out of my Locust God deck just because like it's not as much fun, and that's what it comes down to, in my opinion. Whether when it comes to playing Magic and deciding if I should throw in a combo piece or make it more synergistic, does it make things more fun? Like Min lets me create an illusion if I draw my second card on a turn. Okay, but it's only the one like once per turn, pretty much, because it specifically says second card. The Locust God says whenever I draw, just create an insect. Okay, so on Slothy's turn, there's a chance I could create 0, or there's a chance I could create like 10. So it's like a big difference, right? And like it just like the card just allows the game to like the whole dynamic to swing to my side in like one turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like like I don't like I'll play combos, but I try to make the combos so that they're not like they're not so swingy. Like they don't make it so that I'm the target just in one heartbeat.
Yeah. I like my synergy when I build it up over time. Like to me, when I'm going in, I'm liking to think that turn like maybe 1 through 4 is my setup phase. Like I'm trying to find kind of key pieces or things that I'd like to try to ramp or kind of expedite my plays and things like that, or at least to kind of maybe get a defender on the field, things like that. And then maybe turn like 6 through 8 or 5 through 8. That is when I'm actively maybe trying to find, but by find I mean either A, like draw cards or things along those lines to look for my win or just keep the game going, right? But like most of the times I see more combos when we decide, hey, that we're gonna play a high power deck. Like I usually tend to see more more combos when we start getting to CDH level decks. I know Daniel likes to say C is for consistent, but like I almost want to say like C is for combo.
Well, but not all they're not all combo decks, right? Like it's just consistency. You're just trying to do the same thing over and over and over.
I guess it's just my view of it, because that's just what I've primarily always seen as more combo centric or combo win kind of decks over synergy style wins.
That's fair. I wanted to get to Sherman's pros and cons list here. I really like that section there. I'll let Sherman start taking it away with some of the pros of like playing, or I guess problems with like playing combos, like the other than I don't like them personally.
I totally forgot we had show notes.
They're there somewhere.
They're here somewhere. Well, like, cause like this just the topic, like we can just talk about this for hours, right? So, but like, yeah, problem with combos, like what we were mentioned earlier, like reliant on tutors mostly, right? Another one is like that you tend to stick to certain win cons, or the deck tends to be a glass cannon.
Yeah, like it's built only to win on that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But there's two big ones. Okay, and the biggest ones is one, as Daniel has mentioned many times, when you build a lot of decks, if you do the combos constantly, it gets boring. And the second one, as we've all mentioned, is that it can leave the table really salty. Like if Slothy is out and we're like, okay, Slothy's a problem with the slivers and all that stuff, and then suddenly, like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna drop down a sanguine bond and an exquisite blood, just like that in a heartbeat. I win the game. Okay, like that win kind of feels like, it's like wah wah, like we could have had an epic battle against Slothy, just slinging spells back and forth, but instead I throw down 2 cards and I'm like, yay, I win.
Yeah, kind of like it's not earned or something.
Yeah, like it would leave anyone in the same position a little salty because I'm so close to winning. Like, you guys have to do all these things. I have like answers prepared, whatnot, etc., etc. And then suddenly 2 cards just come down. It's like, infinite combo, I win.
That is.
You go, Brian.
I was gonna say, like, I've been sitting here for 30 to 45 minutes, and that's the end of, like, it almost can feel like a waste of time. Like,
I think like 2 things. Like number one, combos a lot of times are unwelcome as a win condition when you're trying to play like a more casual, right? And that is a problem with it. Like we again, I won't name our play group, but we have a play group that they're like still fairly new to like building decks and everything. And like they're very fun to play with, but then like they just like in every deck right now just slot in an infinite combo to win. And like it's annoying when you see it the first time just come out of nowhere and you're like, oh, okay, but then you know that that's what they're going for. And it goes into my second problem. And the more combos you have in a deck, the less creative I find that you are, because you're trying to go for just that one thing. I know that this is what wins. This is what it is. That's why I hate the current Rule Zero conversation, because if I tell you guys like I'm playing Daxos the Returned and I'm going to be like experience counters, I'm trying to make lots of creatures and my whole win con is making creatures. Well, then you guys know that the only thing you have to do is just keep Daxos off the board and then I can't make my creatures, right? All you have to do is save your counter spells for Daxos or like, you know what I mean? Or have board wipes in hand. You know that I only have this kind of a win con. It makes people like less creative on both sides. You don't have to live threat assess because I've already told you the threat assessment in it. And like combos kind of make you not really pay attention to the board state, I find a lot of the time, because you know that you're not really trying to interact with the board. You're trying to interact with your own deck to get to a win. You want to just, I get to this and I win. So it doesn't really matter if Sherman has a lot of creatures. If Sherman gets a good enchantment out or something like that, that doesn't really matter. You know, like, okay, Slothy slivers are getting a little out of control. But again, I'm only looking for what I can win with. And then, like I said, you kind of lose a lot of creativity in your like victory path in your threat assessment, because you're threat assessing knowing that it's kind of like you show up to a fist fight and you've got a gun, right? Like you're probably not that concerned about how creative your fighting technique is. You're like, I'll just end up bang.
Like, I only need these 2 cards. Why do I even have the other like 70 something?
Yeah, well, and it's just, and again, then you're trying to defend just your combo. That's what I hate about competitive right now, is the entire format is like, let's play 1 or 2 combos and then every card is to defend or stop that 1 or 2. There's like no creativity in the meta a lot of the time. I really, really find it kind of stale. A lot of people really like it and stuff, but it's just Yeah, I find there's a lot of very similar deck lists, a lot of like you see the same things over and over and over again. That the format I really think lacks diversity right now.
I went to EDH Rec and I found this.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like that's kind of my problem, is that I think that like being combo reliant and going with that, like if you build a combo deck, you're probably gonna be a lot less creative and stuff. Again, there's lots of very clever players who figured out lots of cool combos, and that's great. I'm sure you like some of them, but I just if your whole deck list is like I read primer X, Y, and Z, and I'm going to do A, B, and C to now get to hitting this combo. Congrats, I win Friday Night Magic.
Wow.
I think like when it comes down to it, the biggest thing to like that supports going more synergistic compared to combo is the fact that, because like Daniel's saying, is that like, you know, since everything's the same and all that stuff, and like you have to have a better understanding sometimes when it comes to playing synergy compared to combo. Okay, like don't get me wrong, some combos require a lot of like understanding of the rules and researching, be like, hey, does this actually work or does it not, etc., etc., right? I'm not saying that, you know, no combos, like combos are no brainers, okay? But when you're playing with synergy, like I really do feel like when you're building around that, you become a better player overall. Okay, because you have to have a better understanding of how to get your cards out, how they have to work together, what are the key pieces, you know, if you move this, what happens? Because like most combos, if you remove one piece and like you remove that combo piece, okay, the game's over, you have no win con. But at least with synergy, like you can still try to figure out how to like dig yourself out of that hole and win.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
I was actually just thinking about it. I was like, Daniel just referred to like bringing a gun to so combos are like bringing a gun to a knife fight. What the way that I see with synergy is, so synergy is I need to take the time and I need to find some pieces and I need to build my puzzle. And taking it to Daniel's metaphor there, when I look at a synergy, I think of it like you may show up with a gun, I'm going to have a SWAT team because it's defensive. You have to be
We're out
able
here
to.
jumping.
Pardon?
I said we're out here jumping these guys. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah. Like because you need to be able to defend your pieces. You need to be able to still put out pieces on the board. You have to be able to do all of these things to still progress your board state, but keep your stuff. Because if you lose your stuff, then you're losing your synergy. And if you don't have your synergy, then your deck's not doing what it's actually to do. But when it comes to synergy, you may have 3 different cards that fit the same piece. So if you lose one, it's not overly terrible, right? Because I have a replacement somewheres, but maybe it costs 3 more mana.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
like I just think that the more right now they're just printing gas, right? It's never been easier to combo, it's never been easier to overpower things because,
We're not printing staples.
well, yeah, exactly, wink wink, you know what I mean? We don't want cards that belong in every deck. Everybody lives, sure. I mean, is it great in every deck? Sure, why not? The only thing they could have done is just staple some draw on that thing. Why not, right?
Draw me like your French girls.
Yeah, it's just like they keep putting in a lot of these, so it does become more and more uh like it becomes more and more tempting to want to go into like your combo routes, because again, winning's fun, right? And as the power goes up, it's harder to win a game. It's harder to win a game. That I would say it's the fair way. I guess that's the only way to say it. Like it's hard to win. You know, give your group the old fashioned.
You want bring a combo because I guess CDH is more a 1v1 where our normal no.
No, it's
All right, so
format.
then CDH I find a combo with maybe bringing a grenade, fire in the hole.
Yeah,
Good
it's
luck to the other 3.
well, yeah, it's everyone trying to get their same combo, right? But like I said, with the group that right now is just kind of experimenting. We all go through that. Everyone like finds like, oh no, if I put this in this is like super, super cool and stuff. It's fun to accidentally find combos that never stop and have like a force draw. That's always entertaining, like a spore mound kind of thing. Spore mound does that with everything. But yeah, like if you can't break your combo, you just end your game. That's a good time.
Daniel's done that a few times.
Yeah, I have a few things that are just endless
Calamax.
loops. Yeah.
But every game that you play Calamax, you killed yourself.
Yeah, but that wasn't that. That was just I just took a bunch of turns up. No synergy in that one. All extra turn cards. I was drawn to nothing. Draw, pass, draw, extra turn, pass, draw. Calamax was one that I couldn't find a fun way to play because it was just a lot of those Calamax XR, all of them kind of just go the same way every game. You do X and you benefit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I do have to agree with Sherman's second point. I don't even know if we actually touched this one, but that when it comes to synergy, like I was mentioning, you need to formulate the board, right? So synergy allows for a better understanding of the game as you tend to try new and different cards and interactions, which then if you're also trying new cards and different interactions, that will also lead into longer and more interactive games with others. The thing that we have to remember about, because we haven't really talked about it here in this episode, is that when it comes to our game, a lot of it's politics as well. So Absolutely. You do have to keep that in mind when you're even building your deck. Like, some people are not going to enjoy some of these cards, but you still have to attempt to try to keep them. So what can you do for others?
Bring their life points to 0.
Yeah. I saw you weren't enjoying this combo, so I opted to kill you.
Exactly.
I opted
it's the more thoughtful solution.
I opted to remove you from the game. I free you from your suffering. Yeah, no, the discussion between the two, I think, is like an interesting topic because so many people don't really look at a lot of deck building. I think, like I just said, I find a lot of people's deck building stale. A lot of it is just like the same cards in every deck that don't change out, and they're not really thinking like, will this make the deck better? It's just it's in here because it's good, right? The one of the most fun decks I think I've seen in a very long time was last week's episode. I loved Sherman's Galadriel deck, and I've had a lot of people reach out to the podcast and be like, I am building this. I have to build this. Thunder built one. I was like, I got to build this too. That was like it's just such a fun deck, and it's like, I think mine's also like maybe $60. It's just a fun deck that, like, it's nice to kind of get back to like the basics of Magic a little bit, just try something that just works together. People, again, everyone threat assesses on the things they see commonly, right? Everyone knows like you got to get rid of the Smothering Tithe. You got Esper Sentinel's going to draw them stuff, right? Ooh, that Mystic Remora can get out of hand. We all
get my name out of your mouth.
Well, you don't play Mystic Remora very much.
All the other 3.
Yeah, you love the other 3. But that's what I mean, right? Like, there's just so many. There's a bunch of cards that you can threat assess on site for a lot of people, right? It's just a very, very easy thing to. Again, turn 1 Soul Ring often leads to people losing the game. It's they did a big study on it, and they saw that people that play a first turn Soul Ring often lose because they get ganged up on it. It's so easy to threat assess and say, well, he's 2 mana ahead of us. Let's get him.
Yep, always target.
Yeah, right. Ooh, crushing.
But then it evens out when it's turn 1 Soul. Hey, turn 1 Soul.
Yeah, but like, it's just it does make it more fun. You have to pay more attention, and I just really like I said, that Galadriel deck was just it was a blast to play. Like, I really like the 3-color like ETB Galadriel. I can't stop building that one. Who can't stop, won't stop. But the Scry one, I think, is just like the perfect example of a deck that can just be built. It just works with itself, right? Everything kind of goes towards a common goal. It's kind of bringing, again, like I said, the C is consistency. It's bringing your consistency up because you're able to look at so many cards in your deck. I think that it's a way more powerful commander than most people give it credit for. Just out of the blue, like, you're going to get to what you want to get to. It's going to all work together. And no one's threat assessing my Bronze Walrus. I loved that card. I immediately went and bought that card. That's such a silly card. I want a foil so bad. I can't find one.
I wanted to make walrus sounds, but I'm trying to remember how they sound.
But probably like, I'm not a great walrus actor, apparently. There we go. I think that's a seal.
Yeah, it's a seal. Yeah.
We'll get it. We'll rush. Slothy, please, your walrus impression.
Oh, I don't even know what a walrus sounds like.
Do a heavy metal walrus.
Yeah, on this week's episode, we find out none of us have ever seen a walrus.
Oh, I've seen them on TV, but I don't think I've only ever seen them yawn and show their tusks. I don't think I've ever seen them make a sound. And I think that really depressing episode where they all jumped off a cliff. That's BBC World or whatever it was on Netflix. Yeah. All right. Bring everybody down this episode. Peace. I've done my part.
It goes to sad piano music as the outro. Everyone's crying. The crying still sounds like better walrus impressions. No, it's did you have anything else you wanted to say on this one, Sherman?
Just the only thing I have to say is, like, you know, when it comes down to it, like, once again, just like in the beginning of the show, we don't have problems with people putting in combos. We're not saying combos are bad if you rely on them or whatnot. Like, it's just that when it comes down to it, you know, like, you got to gauge who you're playing against, what your play group's like, and if you want those longer games, okay, like, playing synergy makes those games more fun. Okay, you have more interaction, stuff like that. If you're playing, like, if, for example, if Slothy sits down and plays a game and he's asking everyone, like, oh, hey, what's everyone playing? And there's like two people that are brand new to Magic and they're bringing out recons, he's not going to crank out his sliver deck. You know, he's going to bring out something else that probably doesn't have combos, just so that they can, you know, have more interaction, not scare them away from the game, you know? And that's the thing, like, you know, you want to try to be more fair and playing games that are more fair, and playing synergy, I feel, is better for that as opposed to combo.
When I think of combos, I think of the I want problems always. I don't want peace. I want problems always guy. Like, that's to me in combos. Like, I'm pure gas. Like, I don't want anything else. But I think also, like, just like you were mentioning, Sherman, like, when it comes down to synergy, I guess is another topic. You get the guys, or you get the table asking questions. What does what? So, like, again, you get a communication with the table going, and I think that's the main thing, right? I'm here. I want to, like, I met Daniel. If Daniel wasn't playing group hug or like being as interactive with his decks, would I have maybe have really built this friendship? Like, if he came in and just salted me greatly,
that was game 2.
Yeah. Like, would I be here?
But game 1? Game 1 friendly.
Bring them in. Bring them in with trust.
Yeah.
But, like, think about it, okay? Like, what's more fun? Sitting down with 300 people, okay, and all of you just sitting in silence, basically on another person's turn, as he's literally just saying, like, I play this, pass. Or, on your turn, everyone's talking to each other and be like, hey, Daniel's the problem, Slothy, Brian, what do you guys have? And Daniel's just in there like, guys, I haven't cast anything. Shut up, Daniel. What's the problem? You know,
Daniel's
like,
the SWAT team from earlier. That'll deal with it.
I didn't do anything, please.
Yeah, like,
have a heart.
Like, it's more fun, more interactive when you have stuff like that, okay? Like, yes, combos can win out of nowhere, and that's the biggest problem I have. It's just, you get a lot of salty players, a lot of feel bad wins, all that stuff, right? And, like, when it comes down to it, okay, like I don't know about the rest of you guys, but like how many times have you sat down and someone's like has this card in their hand they just drew and just like, this is a mean card. I don't know if I should play it.
Play it.
But you have it in the deck for a reason. Why? Well, like, if I play it, it works with this, and then this makes it difficult, and then, like, I can win on the spot. Once again, that's a combo. Like, why?
Do it,
why
coward. Do it once and then take it out.
Yeah.
Just pull it.
There's a lot. I find a lot of decks really, really do like the card Alter the Brood, but it's a card I just sandbag every time because I find it so inherently unfun to just. I play a land every 1 mil. Like like I said, it's on its face. It's such a good card, and I understand running it. Like there's some decks like I think Brian runs it in Xeris, right?
I did, yeah.
It's just a card that like really overperforms every time. You know,
Oh,
you wheel and then everyone mills 21 cards.
I also had the what's it called? The other one, you mill 2 for everything that you untap.
Mesmeric Orb.
Oh,
Yeah,
Mesmeric Orb. Mesmeric Orb I don't find as much. Like it's annoying, but it's punishing players who are.
But I
Or
played it in
way
Urza, so I could double it up and create tokens of it.
That's
Yeah.
cool. I still like that.
And
like-
caltrops. Like I thought
For
that was
sure.
just funny. I make 30 caltrops, no one can attack.
That.
But yeah, I just like sandbag. There are some cards I just sandbag all the time. Like I think I only actively play Alter the Brood in one deck, and it's Zelix, which is I'm trying to mill everyone to get my horror creatures.
Mhm.
So too bad, so sad. It's what I'm trying to do, anyways. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. It's what I'm doing.
Zelix.
But yeah, short of Zelix. Zelix is another annoying card.
Zelix is great.
Yeah.
Have a show just listing off all the annoying cards.
This episode was 18 hours long. Cyclonic Rift was mentioned 18 times by
we
Daniel
did that
in the
with
first
the
4
salt
seconds.
list.
I do love going over the salt cards.
Do you guys have
Yeah.
anything to add to this? Like,
No, I like that. But I'm pretty sure everyone gets the gist of my point of stop comboing, stop infinite comboing my casual
Yeah, I
table.
think we had to stop beating on the combo players.
yeah, like seriously, like if it's a casual game, it's supposed to be a casual game. It's supposed to be a casual table. Like seriously, like combos just like it's like mainly the infinite combos just ruin the game, in my opinion.
The casual, unless everyone's like fine with it and knows that that's like a thing, right? Like if you say you're going to play a casual game and then you pull out an infinite combo,
Yeah.
you're less likely to get invited
Gee
back.
Willikers, Batman!
Yeah. Slothy, any thoughts?
No, kind of building on there. If you are going and playing against people who either like just have pre-cons, just starting out, don't have much time to play, and you bust out a turn 2 win on what can be their only game of like the week, don't be that guy.
Yeah,
That's just not fun or considerate, especially if people were there under the notion of, oh, I just bought this.
I want to try
pre-con.
this out.
I want to try this.
We want to foster a community here, suckers. You don't kill newbies,
Exactly.
or you have to deal with us, brother.
You won't like Brian when he's angry.
Oh, hey, brother. I will. I do want to. One thing before we go, though. Does everyone have a favorite combo? Like, is there something you do enjoy? Like, we have really. You guys aren't wrong. We have really harped on the combo players. Is there something you just love? Like your favorite combo to see? Like, is there something? It could be long and convoluted. Staff of Domination. Great one Thunder. I like that.
Jeez, come on.
Staff with Elves is woof. Ooh, that's a big one.
Currently, I'm really liking Rosy Cotton with Scurry Oak because I like squirrels.
I like that. That keeps making squirrels,
Yes,
right?
that'll be like whenever another creature enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on a creature other than, or whenever a token, enters. put a +1/+1 counter on something.
So you can keep putting it on Scurry
and
Oak.
then on Scurry Oak, when that gets +1/+1 counter, create a squirrel, which is a token, and then keep going with that. That was what I found with Protean Hulk in that game that we played.
I like that.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I think most of my decks are all mainly creature based, right? So I typically I'm more aligned more synergistically. But do you know what? Hey, you guys played with me. What do you guys typically see for like combo wise with me? I have no idea. I'll be honest.
I'll admit, Brian, you don't play infinite combos. You don't, because like you honestly don't like infinite combos. You find it too greasy.
I'm no greaser here. I'm not slicking back my hair and traveling back in time.
Daniel, what's yours?
That's fair. Mine is like using it's in my my Team deck. It's Weaponcraft Enthusiast. It's the like if you haven't seen it, it's a Fabricate card from like Kaladesh. It's an uncommon. It's got Fabricate 2 when it enters. Put 2/1 counters on it, or you make 2 colorless servos. I love it as like a combo generator piece because it's technically like you can have it come in as a 2/3 or a 0/1 with 2/1/1s. And then Team, whenever creatures enter, they enter with a counter on it. Yeah, so they enter with vigilance counter on it, so they've got things that you can remove still. And then you just have like an Ashnod's Altar so that you, after triggering it the first time, you sacrifice those 3 to the Ashnods. You get, like you've got 6 mana, and Team is removes counters. Like you remove 3 counters from a creature. Top 3 cards go into the graveyard, then you return a permanent with CMC 3 or less. So you just keep bringing back Weaponcraft Enthusiast, and it basically lets you like full combo your deck out. Like I really like it with Team. And it's the, like if I get an Ashnods and a Team out and no one has an instant answer to Ashnods or Team, I'm just going to generate infinite mana, bring everything I want into my deck back. So I get like infinite enter triggers, and it's very fun. That's my favorite one. Team is the, like talking about the episode when I said that Team's fun. I just really, really genuinely enjoy the combos that are built into Team because they get so silly so fast. But I don't play Team very often because of that.
Last time I saw it was back in the day when Ikoria was the thing.
Yeah, like Team, like I said, Team just does a lot of really fun stuff. And there's probably, I haven't edited that deck in a long time. There's probably just a ton of really, really fun combos that are available with it. But I just, that's not really as much as I, like I don't really play Team.
Well, it's green. Because like all of the new like Phyrexian stuff with the new populate or proliferate cards and everything to add more counters onto stuff. Like it would have so much more gas now.
I just looked it up. There is 1,004 combos available in Team.
Hilarious.
That's too many.
Yeah,
that's too many.
Yeah, a lot of them are Ashnod's Altar combos. I'll tell you that right now.
Not surprised.
Well, again, another like Hallowed Spirit Keeper. It's a 3/2 for 1 and double white. When it dies, you create X white spirits, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. So you just keep bringing it back with Team. They all enter with vigilance counters. They all sack for mana. Ashnod's Altar is a real problem.
Always has been. Always will be.
Sure is.
Yeah, right. I'm just scrolling through trying to see how many of these don't have Ashnods, and let me tell you, I haven't hit one yet. Oh, Collar of the Claw. That's another great one in Ashnod's. This is another one, but this will be my end one. Team brings back CMC 3 or less, right? So Collar of the Claws, when it enters, you put a 2/2 green bear for each non-token creature put into your graveyard from the battlefield this turn. So the first time you bring it back, you're going to have like 2 creatures. And then the second 3, like so up to 5. And then it's really, really fun to just like Collar of the Claw loops.
Yeah, I make all the bears.
Yeah. That's it. This one's not even a Team combo. It's just Chain of Smog and Witherbloom Apprentice. On this episode, we just go over new combos that I've been too lazy to look at and update.
So many.
Yeah. Luxior is actually an interesting combo too in that one because your creatures get 1/1 for each like counter on it.
Yeah.
That's like a fun one.
Stop crossing
But
over your
I
League of
own-
Legends into Magic.
No, hey, I wish. No, I only ever see Luxior used on animating planeswalkers or on like devoted druid combos. I devote a druid, I make infinite mana. Yeah, that's it. That's my favorite combo. Brian, get a favorite combo.
I have no idea. Well, maybe next week.
Brian's favorite combo is casting Seedborn Muse
Yeah.
That sounds about
There
right.
you go.
and then
Seaboard tapping.
untapping on other people's turn.
I just want to be able to tap my mana, guys. Just give Brian an emblem.
If it's not Seaboard, it's going to be like a unwinding clock or something.
Yeah. Oh, like I said, I'm happy to end there. Did anyone any final closing thoughts? Anyone? I'm cueing Jeopardy music.
Be nicer to the community. Stop playing combos into new people.
Think of the children.
Yeah, like again, like do you want to be invited back? Like just be kind.
Or if you make it a combo, make it like like an 8-card combo.
Oh, actually, like I have to think what Daniel says. Like, hey, this might be the people's time, the only day of the week to get out there for games. Like, they're there to have fun. Like, be courteous, I guess. Know your inner
That's right.
Canadianship.
Yeah. Don't cast a red tear into an all will be one.
I need an all will be one for that for one of the new decks coming out, the Wolf one.
Oh, you're gonna be Team Jacob. Nice.
Oh, yeah, that Wolf card's wicked.
Yeah.
Oh, that Jacob. Ew, I can't believe I just remembered that's from what's that? Sparkling Vampires.
Twilight.
I was thinking about his brother. Who
It's
had
called
the
your
other
favorite.
wolf.
It's called your favorite movie, Brian.
Pardon?
I said it's called your favorite movie.
We should all sit down and watch the. Wait, how many movies was that? 4 movies?
4 movies.
Yeah, give me the Twilight lore, Brian. Forget the Lord of the Rings, Twilight. They're both books, right?
Yeah.
These are equal things of literature.
All right, equal things.
I've never watched those movies. I will be honest.
We should do a stream for charity
Wink,
where
wink.
we have to sit down and do a marathon watching it. There you go.
Am I allowed to curse?
You all have to keep your eyeballs like taped open.
Am I allowed to dress?
Whoever blinks first gets his. You just want to put sparkles on?
Yeah. Walk.
That's what's keeping our eyes open, is the sparkle glitter in it.
A walk-in.
It hurts every time I close my eyes.
Why does it hurt to breathe? Yes, I will. I'll end us there. Here, where's my button? Yeah, just the intro is me screaming. Thank you guys so much for getting through this episode again. We like to rant. If you like our content, go over to intothe99.com. Everything can be found there. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, you should. It really helps us out. And give us a rating. I really like. Really can't harp on enough on that it helps us get noticed, and let's keep doing this. So definitely rate the show. Tell your friends about it. Give us a 5. Say you love my opinions.
Go cowards.
That's yeah, exactly. Leave a psych riff should be banned in the comments. You guys get it. If you want to support us above liking and subscribing and stuff, Patreon's a great way to do it. Really easy to come over and build decks with us. Lots of great patrons, and again, lots of great ideas for the new year. The winter's been kind of crazy. We haven't really been able to get together as much with again -50. How do I tell my friends to come over in -50 and but other than that, yeah. Thanks so much for getting through it. And Abyss Proxy Shop, promo code IT99 if you want a discount for some of these comboing cards. Yeah, that's it.
You guys take care now. Later.
See ya.
Just like to let it roll. Just like this song.
It is a good song.
Abruptly end.
That's just rude.